Hello, everyone. Welcome to BWS Dialogues, the podcast from Brandwidth Solutions. I'm Laura Bush, the Senior Director of Content Marketing here at Brandwidth. Today, I have the pleasure of talking with Robert Weiss, the Executive Producer and Director of MultiVision Digital. MultiVision Digital is a video production and video marketing company that provides video strategy, video production, and video marketing services. Robert, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. And everybody listening, you got a great show ahead of you.
So, Robert, we know that today video is becoming more and more important as a B2B marketing tool, including in life sciences B2B marketing. So why does video matter? What can video achieve that other marketing tools can't?
Yeah, I know we prepared for that question, and when I hear it now, I almost kind of second guess my initial answer, because there's all the other marketing mediums can kind of do the same thing that video does, which is really inform and educate. But video does it so much better. From a buyer standpoint, video gives the most amount of information in the shortest amount of time. And not only that, but can show, explain, somebody can stop and rewatch it. And there's so much information that 2 or 3 videos can give a buyer. They don't have to figure that out. Whereas if they read, they're still kind of figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
From a selling standpoint, there's no better medium than video because it shows people. It builds the know, like, and trust factor. It showcases your facility, explains your processes, your products and services. So it builds that B2B relationship either before somebody picks up the phone or during a sales process, because buyers are going to go back to material or to a website during a sales process. And when you can show them your people, your company, your processes, and make it easy for them, that's the power of video. And that's why video is like, that's what video does so much better than any other marketing tool out there.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So then if you think about video in broad terms, what makes a B2B marketing video effective? Like what differentiates a good one from a bad one?
It explains. I see a lot of videos out there that you can dance to, but don't and they show things and you can dance to it, but doesn't really explain things. And
Interesting.
I think that's, if I had to pick one thing, it's not whether it's shot with an iPhone or a $70,000 camera, whether it's 30 seconds or 4 minutes long. It's none of those things. Is, does the video explain what needs to be explained? And can the buyer walk away with, okay, I get it, and want to move to another video or to the next stage in the sales process? And every video has a different length. The golden rule is never make a video longer than it has to be.
Mm-hmm.
a process of 3 steps is going to be shorter than a process of 7 steps.
Mm-hmm.
But a buyer who's going to drop considerable amount of money will take the time to watch that 5-minute video or an 8-minute video. We've done 8-minute videos that are highly effective because it provides that it's information rich. And that particular use case that I'm thinking about, it was like a $2.5 million steel line, a machine line, not biosciences.
Mm-hmm.
It was this big steel line that had different parts. So the video explained all the different parts to buyers that were going to sink that much money into something. They took the time to watch it, even though it was 8 minutes. Now, would they watch that on LinkedIn or social media? No, they wouldn't. So create a video that explains things and that is appropriate to the right part of the sales process.
That makes a lot of sense. And in life sciences video, there tends to be a lot to explain. So that particularly
Yeah.
resonates with me.
Yep.
So what different types of content should life sciences marketers consider for video? You've kind of alluded to it, but and what
Mhm.
in your experience works well? I mean, is that talking directly about products and services, or maybe trying to capture testimonials, or maybe filming tutorials?
Yes, exactly. hmm Okay. Video is a journey,
Mhm.
and every organization is a very different stage of where they're at with not just producing video, but strategically aligning video to their business objectives. So you talked about product, customer testimonials. What was the last thing?
Tutorials.
Tutorials. So those are three different business objectives.
Mhm.
Okay. The answer is yes, you should do all of them.
Mhm.
But which one should you start with? Well, that depends on your business objectives. And we have a saying that says when you first start thinking about video, the first thing to do is to forget about video.
Right.
Okay. So which one of these three things is priority to you? Is your product not being used or misunderstood because of the implementation? Well, you need the training videos, the tutorials, because you're losing money. Like, again, we had this use case where they literally had to send their service team out, and it was like $5,000 a pop. So we did training videos to alleviate that drain of cost. Is that the same videos for testimonials or for a product launch? Nope. Different business objective. So if you're going to have a product launch, do you even have testimonials because it's a new product? Like, so that's what you should do is marketers are creating content all the time,
Mhm.
right? To do all these things and more. Video is just content. So how does video support the business objective at hand? That's where you get started with video. And going back to how I opened this video is a journey. At the end of 3 or 4 years, you should have all of these and all of these with video. You're building up your asset library.
Fantastic. That makes sense. Are there any categories of video content that you think tend to be underutilized in B2B life sciences marketing?
Sales videos, 100%. Mm-hmm. Yep. In this use case, it was the product launch.
Mhm.
Um, People in this area tend to do corporate overview videos, like about us videos, testimonials, and they create brochures for a product launch and they build FAQ pages and all this other stuff. And those things are germane to the sales process, but they're creating marketing videos and all these high level videos, but not, and this is slightly changing. This,
Mhm.
like 5 years ago, this was like almost zero. Now it's more like 20%, but still underutilized. And where the biggest benefit to both the buyer and the seller is the sales process, because the sales process is the most active in terms
Mhm.
of the information exchange and building that know, like, and trust factor. So, the marketing stuff is important, but every sales video can be a marketing video, especially in today's world. But every marketing video can't necessarily be a sales video.
Mhm. So
So I have
explain that a little bit more. So when you're talking about a sales video that's very different from a marketing video, what should that be covering, or how should it be addressing what the
well, I'll
objective?
use one of my handy dandy charts that I have here. And this is an example of a product launch that we did, or a product video.
Mhm.
So we did one high level sales video
Mhm.
that explained that particular product. Think trade show or
Mhm.
first call, right? You're giving that high level. If somebody walks into the booth, somebody explains the product or machine or molecule or process, whatever that might be, at a high level. And that buyer says, "Oh, okay, now I understand." Then what happens is they have questions. right?
Mhm.
So in this particular project, we didn't do one video, we did six. We did this and all this at the same time. That's called batch production. We'll talk about that later. But the point is that these are all sales related videos, right?
Mhm.
AKA what is typically on a web page or in a brochure. You can now take all of this and put this into an email nurturing campaign.
Mhm.
This can be, well, let me go to another chart. It's called a video first marketing strategy, right? So each video can extend into sales emails, your website, blog posts, social media, a press release potentially.
Mhm.
So you can extend that sales video across all of your different channels. Where a marketing video, you could do this as well, but a marketing video doesn't really relate to the sales process. That's when you click on the brochure,
Mhm.
right? So what the sales videos allow you to do is to utilize all of that digital content in your digital channels as well as the sales process. And that's just a great investment. And going back to your question, very underutilized.
Fantastic. And so then just going back to your first chart for a moment, those different the five sub videos, it's hard to read them on screen. Can you describe a little bit the difference among those?
Well, without getting into here, they're just
Mhm.
FAQs,
Okay.
right? So this is one project. This is another project. This is actually the steel line right here.
Mhm.
So we only did 4 FAQs for that. We did 5 for this. I've got another project, another piece of paper here. We did 7. So every scope is going to have a different, you know, deliverables based
Mhm.
upon budget and those things, and what's needed. But if I can maybe just jump and explain batch production, this is called batch production, and batch production is like cookies. You're going to make a batch of cookies. You're never going to make one cookie because you're going to get more out of your effort. And
Right.
that's the same thing with video. So could we do just this one? Absolutely. Right. Could we just do this one? Absolutely. But it's more valuable to the organization who's hiring us to invest a little bit more and get a lot more videos for the entire sales process and the life cycle.
Mhm.
And I've got one more chart that company actually did not only the high level and FAQs, but they also did the sales support videos as well. So they did videos for the entire customer journey. Again, more investment than just this, but because you're batch producing, you're getting a lot more content out of it and you're doing it all at one time, thus amortizing the investment in a service like mine.
Fantastic. And I was just going to ask that question. So in other words, you're filming it all the same day, and there might be a couple different people coming in and out, but it's all one big session.
Correct. Yep. Or
That
or
makes
two
sense.
days or 3 days, depending. But
Mhm.
yes, all at one time. So when you're whoever's listening, if you're talking to a video production company, don't think video, think video project. And challenge them with like, how can you make the most out of my budget? And
Mhm.
be open and honest with them, right? Because it's not so matter of like, how much is this, right? Because all of this is going to be less than just that.
Right.
Okay. But because I knew I was going to be there for 2 days, I suggested these things. They're like, yeah, we could do that. We have extra dollars, which, percentage wise was not that big,
Mhm.
and they got a lot more.
And Brandwidth, we always think about things in a very similar fashion. We're always thinking about how to maximize the marketing budget that our customers have.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So we know that storytelling is important in marketing. How should marketers think about storytelling through video? Is it different from how you think about it for doing written content?
No and yes.
Okay.
There's different types of written content. Sometimes you tell a story, and sometimes you just provide information. So In that respect, yes, it's the same, I guess. um, People think video, it always has to be a story. And sometimes it's just give me information, going not to pull this up again, but going back to the FAQs here. This is not a story. This is kind of not even a story. This is just information.
Hmm.
I guess presented in a story, some people would say it's a story, but it's not storytelling as a movie. It's like I'm working on a short film now. That's a story.
Hmm.
And we need to tell that story of this guy, Alan, you know, and do everything from a production standpoint and from a music standpoint and think about all the shots that we need in advance to envision how we're going to tell that story from like close-ups and everything like that. Whereas this and most B2B stuff, it's just like, what would you say to somebody standing in front of you? Sometimes that's a story, many times it's not.
Interesting. So you just alluded to the planning that goes into preparing for a film production, at least from your end. From the point of view of the marketer, what kind of prep do they need to think about and do? And for example, if they want to ultimately, you mentioned this earlier as well, if they want to be able to share snippets of the video in social media, do they need to plan that out in advance? What do they need to think
Yes.
about?
Yes. So when you started asking this question, I'm thinking production, but now I'm thinking post deliverables, right? The snippets are post deliverables. So people think, oh yeah, we can just like carve out snippets.
Mhm.
They, yeah, most of the time you probably can, but is it better to know which snippets you're going to use and where and how and plan for that? That's the way I like to work. It's not just you hoping to get that. You're
Mhm.
planning for that, you know? And that kind of goes into here a little bit because we know what sound bites we want to get from all of this to be able to carve out. So me as a director, when we're shooting, like I know that that stuff is part of our deliverables. I'm listening out for that, and I can mark that for the editor, right? From a getting ready for production, that's a very, very different question and very, very different for every organization. But that's what um, that's part of the services that a video production company provides, and it's not just cameras and equipment. It's making sure that you and your people are ready for the day, making sure that we're in the right office, or if we're going into a facility, there's not crap all over the place. We'll do walkthroughs and say, hey, like, tidy things up here, tidy things up there, making sure that it's camera ready. It's never ever perfect when we get there, but at least we're not waiting around and they have to do that. And also, we know if we're going from place to place, we go from A, B, C, and D. This particular shoot right here was actually for a valve company, and they do valves, but thing that the valve sat on the gate, right? They needed to get the gate from one of their clients, right? So in order for us to shoot the valve to show how it works the gate, because they don't have the gate. So that was part of the preparation. Had we not asked that question, I mean, of course we would, like, but if we had never thought about that, we would have gotten there and like, oh, well, we needed the gate. So again, it kind of like the short film. It's thinking about all these things and planning for it, and it has nothing to do with the cameras and equipment.
Right. Exactly. And that's where the expertise of the experienced video production team comes in and they help you think through all those things in advance.
Yeah, yeah. Just like, today, like you were saying, hey, reframe yourself, so
Hmm.
like those things, like the eye of a video production company and some of these like little things that you might not see, but when you like a nice video.
So when you're talking about all that preparation, I'm also thinking about how you prepare the people. So
Hmm.
in B2B life sciences marketing, most of the people, or maybe probably all of them that you film, are not going to be professionals at being in front of the camera. They're
Yeah. Yeah.
professionals in whatever it is that they do. So what do you do to address that concern where people are a little nervous or unsure about it?
Well, I mean, this is part of the professional services that nobody thinks about, right? When they think about video production, it's only the cameras and equipment. Like, no. We have processes in place, and we this is what we do for a living. So we know how to get on Zoom calls like this and prepare people and plan and things to ask them. On location, we know how to coach people and direct people when they're having issues, when they're saying certain words that they say everybody has like their go word or their pause word. um I have like 101 and 201 and 301, right? And sometimes I say, like, listen, you're great, like, this is a 201 or this is a 301, in front of the camera technique. So I know what to say to help people based upon where they're at. And that's, but at the end of the day, we just want people to be who they are. And that doesn't mean they're sitting there reading from a script and they're perfect. And it's unfortunate that they think of Tom Cruise and all these other actors. I don't know why I just said Tom Cruise, because I don't know. Um, and it's perfect, right? But they have so much money to make perfect. And in B2B, you don't want perfect. When you're in front of people, you're not perfect. And it's okay not to be perfect. It doesn't matter what you look like. It's like what they're buying you for, who you are and what you know and how you can help them. And if you can communicate that, which most professionals can without a script, yes, they need to be prepared and planned, and we do all of that pre-production, but that's what we do for a living.
Fantastic. I know often it helps people when they've had a chance to do more than one video over time, right? Like getting a little bit of experience.
Yes, yes. So as part of like a long-term video strategy, this is a big piece, because when you get people in front of the camera the second time, a third time, they've had that experience of being in front of the camera, being uncomfortable, and seeing the video, and we're like, oh, I wasn't so bad as I thought I was. And then the next time they're better. And then they understand that if they're talking and they're like, they understand if they're talking and they're not sure what they're talking about, they can stop like that, right? They know the tricks to make themselves. One of our clients was the CEO of a I think they were $28 billion bank, right?
Oh.
So we go like this, like, and that's for the editor to know, like, I'm stopping. And he got to the point where we didn't have to tell him, he just did it himself. Because he knew the first couple times he didn't know, and this is like it's like a $28 billion CEO. Like, he walks into the room and everybody's about him. And like, here I am telling him what to do, like, um, so anyway, that's all I
So
got.
looking at the broader strategy for video, how does filmed video fit into an overall video plan that might include other types, like say animated videos?
It does, right? If you're a law firm, actually, if you're life sciences, right, you should really rely on people. If you're a law firm, you should never have animation. Like, um, life sciences, you have the mixture of.
Mhm.
You can have both. You can live in a world where you have your charts, right? You have your charts, and we got a lot of charts here. Like, we've got charts all over the place. Like this right here, like this is actually a screenshot from a video that's motion graphics and animated, right? So, um, and it's of me explaining what a video first marketing strategy is, but it's me on camera, and then we cut to the motion graphics and the animation. Do we also have fully motion graphic videos? We do. Do we have full live videos? We do. Do we have mixtures? We do. So it's about messaging,
Mhm.
budget, scope, like all these things play a role in what you do. Um, I'll throw another phrase out. We speak a lot, and this is when you first start thinking about video, the first thing to do is to forget a video as an overall strategy. But when you get to a video or a video project, don't think about what you see. I'll let that sink in for a second
Yeah,
because you're
what do
like,
you
wait a
mean?
minute,
You
this is
you kind of made
video.
me feel perplexed there. I was like, what do you mean by that?
Right? You're thinking, wait, this is video. Of course, what I see. Nope, it's what you hear.
Oh.
Okay. So if you're explaining something, you need to explain it, and then you show to support the explaining. Okay. If I have little budget, I will show this as a static image.
Mhm.
I will explain this. But if I have more budget, I could put motion to all of this and put dotted lines and have these things pop up and blah, 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 blah. It's more time to make this move.
Mhm.
It's still explaining this. Okay. So if I'm talking about a video first marketing strategy versus a product launch, right? I have different visuals. So the message of the communication will drive the visuals. And that's part of the planning process. If I had one potential client, I don't think they turned into a client. They're like, oh, we want this video that has drones and this and that. Da, da, da. I'm like, well, what is it? Oh, it's a product. I'm like, wait, it's a product that sits on a table. Like, why do you need a drone? Like, oh, we want to show the facility, and then I'm like, you're selling the product, right? And he's like, yeah, I guess you're right. So that's a great example of somebody starting with what you see and realizing that's not what you need because it's not what you hear. You hear the product and how it moves and does this. That's what you need to show.
Interesting. You're still leaving me a little bit trying to grasp this concept about what you hear versus what you see. So, are you saying that like this script matters more than what's in the background and what's being shown, maybe it's equipment or the tool, or are you saying something slightly different?
I guess so. When you say script, I'm talking messaging. So yes,
Hmm.
messaging, script. So yeah, so that determines what you show. We have a video I can give it to you and you can post it in the notes. It's called the Blue Tree video. Okay. And it's if I have a video that says I like green trees, I just need a static picture of a tree.
Hmm.
Okay. But if it's I like trees, but we like turning them blue, oh, I need to show a picture of a green tree and then I need to put some motion graphics to make it blue. More investment. And then the
Hmm.
third example is we really love when your kid is walking down the street playing with his dog and they see a green tree and then it turns blue. And I have my son playing with my dog, walking down the street, showing him playing with the dog, seeing the tree. Right? There's more effort in that. Right? So those are three different examples of different messaging that requires different shots, different budget to execute the message of that communication.
That makes sense to me.
Okay.
So now many marketers are exploring using AI to make videos. What advice do you have for them?
Unless you're really good at AI, don't do it.
Really?
Yes. AI is not easy. It's we've had our trials and tribulations, and we've done some AI. We have some really, really good examples of um, videos we've done with AI, or we've integrated AI in parts of the video.
Hmm.
But guess what? We've been doing it for 9 months now. It's January 2026. We've kicked the tires with many tools. We've spent a lot of hours learning not just the prompt, but what to do, and then how to take that and integrate that into the other software that we've been using for years to get what we need. So it's not as easy as everybody thinks. The examples that everybody is seeing are probably from other companies, or either from those software companies that really know what they're doing, or from other companies that have done like what we have, where they've spent the time, the hours, and they've learned, the tools. There's certainly a place for it. And I'll give you the one use case. It's not in life sciences, but we did a promotional video for a property, for a building. And the building was not built yet. It's still not built, but they had renderings of what the building would look like, and the deck and the common area and the rooms and the gym and the facade, renderings of all of that, which is typical in buildings. What we did is we added people, we put motion to those people within those renderings to add a lifestyle feel to the video versus just having static images. And we still had our traditional text overlays, like, X amount of square feet and when it's coming and blah, 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 all the great things about it. Those things were there, but we used AI animation to enhance the video.
Excellent example.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the biggest barriers that keep marketers from trying video, and how can they overcome them?
Everybody's at a very different stage of where they're at, so it's hard to generalize. Thinking that one video is enough, not really understanding the sales. We talked a little bit earlier about the big opportunity for sales videos, not necessarily marketing videos. And yeah, I guess cheaping out. Doing a video that, again, we talked about this, that shows but doesn't necessarily explain. And not having people. So these are some of the things that I think, if they can overcome these things and do it right, they're going to see a higher ROI out of their videos. And one of the things that most videos, a characteristic of most videos, is that they last for many years. So any video that one does now from a sales standpoint, like, how long would that sales video last? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years? Quite a while. So it makes sense to do it right. So I don't know, it's a couple things that I was thinking.
And what I'm hearing you say there is, perhaps implied, is that if you may actually get better ROI if you invest more in the program.
Yes. Because that gives somebody like me, like, going back to this is one investment. This is 1 plus whatever, 2. This is 1 plus 5. But how much more value are you getting out of all of this by us spending an extra day there? And not only that, but spending time getting the shots we need to make the video nice.
And it's also about thinking about marketing strategically and having a strategic marketing plan. I mean, that same concept really would apply to anything else. Are you doing one white paper, or are you planning out your content? Yeah, it's really the same concept as I think about it. So to wrap up, Robert, what advice would you have to B2B marketers who want to make more or better use of video but aren't sure what their next step should be?
Work with a video production company first. There's so many good video production companies out there. Most of them, I'm going to say all of them, they all love what they do, right? And it's a profession that is creative. It's challenging. We go on shoots and we have to figure stuff out, because 100%, this is another one of our sayings, 100% of the time, 100% of our plan, 100% never happens. Somebody's sick, somebody has a cold, something's not working, like something's going to happen and we need to figure it out. Or there's like something cool that we just want to try to get a shot, right? Because video production companies are like, let's get the best shot, right? And we need to figure out how to do it. So that's fun. So when you work with a company like mine, you're going to learn a lot about the process. And it takes about, if you got started today, it'll take you about 2 years to get the process. And that means from pre-production, production, post marketing, doing it again, and getting all those workflows down. It'll take a while because you can't do video all the time. Like a blog post, you can do 3 times a month, 4 times a month, right? You can't with video. So it takes a little while. So get started today and think about what you have coming up and align your video strategy to your future business goals and objectives, and then start to chip away at some of the things you have like behind you. But always, where are you investing? Is it a new product, sustainability, a new molecule, a new service, a new industry that you're going into? You're going to be creating content. You've probably made a huge capital investment already, right? To develop that, whatever, right? Video is the best way to showcase and communicate and explain. So make sure that video flows through and is not an afterthought.
Fantastic. Well, I think that's the perfect place to wrap up. Robert, thank you so much for talking to us today and sharing all those insights with us.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Laura.